Child restraint laws and regulations. Should I use a booster seat or a car seat? When riding in any passenger vehicle, children and newborns must be secured in an age-appropriate, federally authorized car seat. Children may not be adequately secured or damaged by an average seatbelt in a car collision because they are meant to protect adults. Over the past few decades, the regulations governing child restraints have undergone significant revision, raising the bar for child safety significantly. According to NHTSA statistics, when used properly, kid car seats reduce the risk of fatal injury in young children by 54% and in infants under 1 year of age by 74%. All drivers are responsible for making sure that any passengers under the age of 18 are appropriately restrained. The installation of any child restraint system you use is crucial for the security of the children in your care. When installing and utilizing a kid's safety seat, always follow the manufacturer's recommendations. Legislation governing child restraint. It is vital to keep in mind that driving regulations vary slightly from state to state before going into any further depth about kid restraint legislation. The official driver's handbook is the finest resource for information on child restraint legislation in your state. Make sure to consult it when selecting a suitable car seat. The age at which a minor must use restrictions on their own varies as well. Drivers are responsible for making sure all passengers under the age of 17 are secured in a suitable child restraint or a seatbelt in Texas. Although drivers are responsible for all passengers under the age of 18 in Florida, Pennsylvania, and many other states. This information can be found in your driver's manual. Booster seat or car seat? A child passenger's age and height decide whether they need a car seat or a booster seat. California and Texas both. 1. Unless they are taller than 3 feet 4 inches, all infants and toddlers must be restrained in a rear-facing car seat. 2. Unless they are 4 feet 9 inches or taller, all children under the age of 8 must ride in a booster seat. Check your driver's manual if there are any potential minor variances in these regulations across the country. You are unlikely to come across any big differences, though, given these laws are determined by scientific research and federal safety guidelines. The primary lesson here is that a child's needs for protection alter as they get older. These evolving child restriction laws can be divided into phases, which are covered in more detail below. Rear-facing seats Phase 1. Infants can ride in rear-facing car seats starting at birth, and they should do so until they reach the manufacturer's recommended maximum height and/or weight limits. Always put rear-facing car seats in the back seat of the car. Phase 2, seats facing forward. When a child outgrows their rear-facing seat, they must transition to a forward-facing seat. Never strap a youngster into a forward-facing car seat until they satisfy the manufacturer's minimum weight and height specifications. In accordance with most child safety seat regulations, a kid must be at least 2 years old before utilizing a forward-facing seat. Until your child is tall enough to need a booster seat, you should keep them in a forward-facing seat. Stage 3, booster seats. 4-year-olds and older who fulfill the manufacturer's and the state's height criteria ought to be buckled up in a booster seat with an adult lap and shoulder seat belt. Behavior and maturity must also be taken into account because a youngster utilizing a booster seat is able to move or release the normal seat belt on their own. Adult safety belt, Phase 4. When kids are tall enough to use an adult seatbelt, you can secure them without a booster seat using the lap and shoulder belt. As was already noted, most states need a minimum height of 4 feet 9 inches. There are some outliers, but most kids are between the ages of 10 and 12 when they reach this height. As for the shoulder belt, place it across the child's chest and shoulder without putting pressure on the child's neck. Position the lap belt over the child's hips or thighs. Those under 18 must sit in the back seat. When installing a child restraint system, take into account these positioning guidelines. Never put a child in a forward-facing or rear-facing car seat in the front seat. When required, booster seats can be placed in the front seat of a car. Since the back seat is always safer, it is generally required by law for kids to ride there when there is room. This applies to Texas minors under the age of 13 and New Jersey minors under the age of 8. Check your driving manual for any age restrictions that may apply in your community. Children may ride in the front seat if all rear seat slots are used by younger children, according to the majority of state drivers' manuals.